We start with President Moon Jae-in's state visit to China. He's there on a 4-day visit. Now on the second day of that, Mr. Moon is holding a bilateral summit with his Chinese counterpart, President Xi Jinping. Our chief Blue House correspondent, Moon Connyoung, is live on the line for us from Beijing. Connyoung, give us the latest.
Right, Devin. Today is the second day of South Korean President Moon Jae-in's 4-day state visit to China, but the South Korean leader spent most of his first day making efforts to bring the two countries' business activities back on track. That as tensions between the two major Asian economies are beginning to thaw after a spat over Seoul's deployment of a U.S. missile shield. Chinese President Xi Jinping hosted an official welcome ceremony of the South Korean President and First Lady Kim Jung-sook just moments ago at the Great Hall of the People. Now, as are customary for most state visits, he was greeted by military honor guards and saluted by 21 gunshots. That came to an end moments ago, and Presidents Moon and Xi are sitting down for an expanded bilateral summit as we speak, which will be followed by the signing of more than a dozen memorandums of understanding for bilateral cooperation in various sectors. There will be another bilateral summit afterwards, this one with a limited number of people in attendance, and then the first couple will head to a state banquet hosted by Mr. Xi. Devin.
Okay, Connyoung, well, what do we expect they'll be talking about? This is the third time that they've met since President Moon's inauguration.
Sure. Highly likely to top the agenda, North Korea and trade. North Korea's missile and nuclear program will likely dominate the talks. Mr. Moon has been seeking engagement with the isolated regime while backing pressure and slapping sanctions as a means to bring Pyongyang to the negotiating table. Now, Beijing, on the other hand, has made a freeze for freeze or dual suspension proposal that involves North Korea suspending weapons tests while South Korea and the U.S. halt their annual joint military drills, which they have been carrying out since the early 1950s. Many analysts also believe that issue will hang over the talks. Although the two sides agreed to put the dispute behind them and move beyond it, there are analysts, including those who advise Seoul's foreign ministry, who believe China will bring it up again as it's also a strategic option because there are other issues to cooperate or deal with, such as North Korea. Now, Devin, another concerning factor looming over the talks, two photojournalists from South Korea, part of the presidential press corps traveling with the president, with me actually, were assaulted by Chinese guards while covering the South Korean president at a trade fair event earlier today. They were beaten by a group of local security guards and are now hospitalized. And for clarification purposes, these are Blue House resident reporters registered with South Korea's presidential office, as well as the Chinese government for this presidential trip. Devin?